You know what's powerful, my friend? The fact that transformation doesn't have to take a lifetime. People spend years wishing, waiting, wondering when things will change. But what if I told you that in 7 days, you can start becoming an entirely new version of yourself? 7 days may not seem like much time, but if you make the right decision every single day, the kind of decisions that build destiny, not destroy it, your life can shift faster than you ever imagined. See, God didn't need 7 years to create the world. He did it in 7 days. That's a clue. Transformation is not about time. It's about intention. Most people are waiting for motivation to show up before they move. But winners, true kingdom entrepreneurs, faith-driven action takers, they move first and motivation meets them on the journey. So here's my question to you. What would happen if for the next 7 days you stopped negotiating with your excuses and started aligning with your assignment? Because every excuse you hold on to is an anchor that keeps your destiny docked. But when you cut those ties, when you release that old version of you, that's when the new you begins to rise. You see, transformation doesn't begin when you arrive at success. It begins the moment you decide to become successful. Too many people wait for the perfect conditions before they make a move. They wait for the right time, the right opportunity, the right support. But here's the truth: the right time never comes, because time doesn't create transformation. Decision does. Every major shift in your life will always start with a single intentional choice. The decision to no longer tolerate the same results, the decision to stop blaming circumstances, and the decision to finally take responsibility for your destiny. That's the real beginning of transformation. The old you is built on excuses, but the new you is built on decisions. Let me ask you a question. How long are you going to keep waiting to feel ready? Because readiness is not a feeling, it's a commitment. People say, when I get the money, I'll start the business. No, when you start the business, the money shows up. When I feel confident, I'll speak up. No, when you speak up, confidence shows up. You've got to move first, and the resources will follow your movement. Decision creates momentum, and momentum attracts miracles. That's the divine law of action. God never blesses hesitation, but he multiplies motion. Think about this. Every transformation story you've ever admired began with one person saying, "Enough is enough." That phrase carries more power than most people realize. Because when you reach the point where your hunger outweighs your hesitation, change becomes inevitable. The problem isn't that people don't want a new life. It's that they haven't reached the emotional intensity required to demand one. You can't casually walk into transformation. You've got to run into it with conviction. Here's a hook for you. The future doesn't respond to wishes, it responds to decisions. You can't wish your way into wealth, confidence, or peace. You decide your way there. Every day, you are either reinforcing the old you through comfort or revealing the new you through courage. And if you want a new reality, you have to stop negotiating with the old version of yourself. The old you wants to stay safe. The new you wants to soar. The old you focuses on problems. The new you focuses on purpose. Which one are you feeding every day? When you make a decision, something shifts in the unseen realm. Opportunities you couldn't see before start showing up. People who were once distant begin to align with your vision. That's not coincidence. That's consequence. The universe responds to certainty. Decision is the frequency of clarity, and clarity creates attraction. You start walking differently, talking differently, thinking differently. People feel it. They sense the authority in your energy. And suddenly, You're no longer asking for permission. You're walking in purpose. But let me tell you what happens when you don't decide. Life decides for you. When you delay decisions, you delegate your destiny to circumstances. You start living on autopilot, reacting instead of creating, surviving instead of thriving. You begin to accept average as normal, when in reality, average is the enemy of excellence. That's why indecision is one of the most dangerous forms of self-sabotage. It looks harmless, but it quietly kills your potential. Every day you delay your decision to become new, the old you grows stronger roots. Here's the truth. The moment you decide, the new you is born. You might not see the full transformation yet, but the seed is planted. And when that seed is watered with consistency, faith, and action, it begins to grow faster than you can imagine. Don't underestimate what one bold decision can do. It can shift your income, your relationships, your health, your confidence, your faith, everything. One decision can rewrite your entire story. So I challenge you to stop waiting for your environment to change and start changing your environment through decision. Don't wait for someone to validate your vision. Validate it yourself by moving on it. Don't wait for fear to disappear. Walk through it. Because transformation doesn't start when you reach your goal. It starts when you stop living beneath your potential. And that happens in one defining moment, when you say, I decide. And once that decision is made, don't look back. Because the moment you choose to become new, the old you starts losing power. Every thought, every action, every word begins to align with your decision. And that's when you'll realize that transformation was never about becoming someone else. It was about finally choosing to become who you were always meant to be. Discipline is the invisible architect of transformation. It's the bridge between who you are right now and who you're destined to become. Everybody wants change, but very few are willing to pay the price that discipline demands. See, motivation can get you started, but discipline keeps you going when the feeling fades. Motivation is an emotion, discipline is a decision. And decisions create destiny. The moment you decide that you will stay consistent no matter how you feel, you separate yourself from the masses. Because most people move only when it's easy. But the new you, the one you're becoming, moves especially when it's hard. Here's a hook for you. Success doesn't belong to the most talented. It belongs to the most disciplined. Talent opens the door, but discipline keeps it open. Talent gives you potential, but discipline turns that potential into power. Without discipline, dreams die in the realm of intention. It doesn't matter how big your vision is if you don't have the habits to sustain it. You can't pray for abundance and live with the habits of lack. You can't ask for growth and practice inconsistency. Every next level of your life will demand a higher level of discipline. Discipline is not about punishment. It's about positioning. It positions you for the opportunities that your preparation will attract. Every time you wake up early when you don't feel like it, every time you stay focused when distractions call your name, every time you finish what you start, you are telling the universe, I'm ready for more. Discipline is not glamorous, it's gritty. It's those silent battles behind the scenes that shape the results everyone later applauds. While others are sleeping, you're studying. While others are complaining, you're creating. That's the secret ingredient of champions. Think about this. Your habits are the soil where your future grows. If the soil is inconsistent, the seed cannot take root. Discipline is the water that nourishes your potential. You don't see instant results, but something powerful is happening underground. The more consistent you are, the stronger your roots become. And when your roots are strong, no storm can shake you. Most people quit before they see results because they mistake the silence of progress for the absence of progress. But the disciplined mind knows that growth is happening even when it's not visible yet. Another hook for you. Discipline is doing what's necessary even when nobody's watching. Because the real reward doesn't come from applause, it comes from alignment. Every disciplined action brings you closer to your purpose. Every day you remain consistent, you are voting for the person you are becoming. That's how identity is built, not in a single moment of effort, but in a pattern of commitment. The old you look for shortcuts. The new you build systems. The old you chased excitement. The new you honors endurance. Discipline transforms you from being emotionally driven to purpose driven. Let's be honest. Discipline will test you. It will demand that you choose between what feels good now and what will feel great later. It will force you to silence the noise of excuses and amplify the voice of excellence. But here's what's powerful. The pain of discipline weighs ounces, while the pain of regret weighs tons. Every moment you say no to distraction, you're saying yes to destiny. Every time you push through resistance, you're training your mind to obey your purpose instead of your feelings. That's how leaders are forged. That's how legacies are built. Discipline creates freedom. And that's what most people don't realize. People think discipline is restrictive, but in truth, it's liberating. When you master discipline, you master your time, your focus, and your emotions. You gain control over your future instead of being controlled by circumstances. Discipline gives you the freedom to live with intention instead of reaction. It allows you to create a life of design rather than default. And when your life becomes the reflection of your intentional effort, that's when fulfillment replaces frustration. So, if you truly want to become a new you, make discipline your daily language. Let every action you take whisper, I'm building something greater. Be faithful to your goals when it's boring, when it's hard, and when nobody's clapping. Because discipline is the foundation upon which greatness stands. Without it, everything collapses. With it, everything compounds. And once you become a person of discipline, you no longer chase success. Success starts chasing you. Your mind is the factory where your future is manufactured. Every thought that enters your mind is like raw material, and what you choose to produce with it determines the quality of your life. The truth is, you can't build a wealthy, confident, purpose-driven life with thoughts of doubt, fear, and limitation. The mind doesn't give you what you want. It gives you what you program it to believe. Every outcome you see in your life is a direct reflection of the internal conversation you're having with yourself. If that conversation is weak, fearful, or negative, then your results will echo the same. But when you take control of your mental blueprint, when you start thinking like the person you are becoming instead of the person you have been, that's when real transformation begins. Here's a hook for you. The quality of your thinking determines the quality of your living. You can't think small and live large. You can't think lack and walk in abundance. You can't think defeat and experience victory. Your outer world will always follow the direction of your inner world. So if you want to elevate your life, you have to elevate your thoughts. You've got to catch those limiting beliefs before they grow into lifelong barriers. Because a negative thought entertained becomes a belief, and a belief accepted becomes a limitation. Every great achiever, every visionary, every person who has ever created massive change started with one shift. They changed their thinking. They stopped asking, Can I do this? And started declaring, how can I make this happen? That one mental shift opens doors that fear keeps locked. Your mind has two choices every day. It can build prisons or it can build palaces. The question is, which one are you constructing? Because whatever you repeatedly think about, you inevitably bring about. Your focus becomes your future. Now, most people live their lives like renters in their own minds. They let doubt, fear, and other people's opinions occupy space rent, free. But the new you, the powerful you, must take ownership of that space. You've got to evict every thought that doesn't serve your vision. You can't afford to let negativity live where greatness is supposed to grow. So the moment a limiting thought tries to enter, challenge it. Replace I can't with I will. Replace I'm not enough with I am more than capable. Replace I've never done this with I'm learning to master this, because your mind listens to your mouth. Every word you speak is a seed planted in the soil of your mind, and what you speak consistently, you eventually see physically. Here's another hook. Your mind is a battlefield, and whoever wins there wins everywhere. The enemy of your destiny doesn't need to steal your money or your opportunity. All he needs to do is capture your mind. If he can convince you that you're not capable, he doesn't have to stop you. You'll stop yourself. That's why guarding your mind is not optional, it's essential. Feed it with inspiration, not gossip. Nourish it with education, not entertainment. Surround yourself with people who speak life, not doubt. Because whatever environment you expose your mind to repeatedly becomes the ecosystem of your expectations. Let me tell you something powerful. Your mind doesn't care what you plant. It will grow whatever you feed it. You can plant seeds of fear or seeds of faith, seeds of scarcity or seeds of success. The soil doesn't discriminate, but the harvest does. So be intentional about your thoughts. Every morning when you wake up, remind yourself that your mind is your greatest asset. Don't let it wander aimlessly through negativity. Direct it. Discipline it. Train it to focus on purpose, on growth, on possibilities. Because if your mind is aligned, your actions will follow with precision. You've got to visualize the life you want until it feels more real than the one you're living. The mind doesn't know the difference between imagination and reality. It simply responds to what you focus on with emotion and repetition. So speak your vision, see your victory, feel your success before it manifests. That's how faith functions. You believe it before you see it, and because you believe it, you eventually do see it. So if you truly want to become a new you, start by renewing your mind. Refuse to be a victim of old thoughts. Command your thoughts to serve your purpose, because your mind is not just where your future begins, it's where it's built. And when you master your mind, you master your life. Pressure is not your enemy, it's the evidence that you're growing. The moment you decide to rise to a higher level, life will test the strength of your foundation. Pressure doesn't come to break you, it comes to build you. It's the universe asking, are you ready for what you're praying for? Everyone wants elevation, but few are prepared for the weight that elevation carries. You can't walk into a new season with the strength of your old one. That's why pressure is necessary. It stretches you, shapes you, and strengthens you. You can't have progress without pressure, because pressure is proof that potential is being activated. Here's a hook for you. Diamonds are created in the same place most people want to escape under pressure. It's the intense heat and crushing weight that transform a lump of coal into something priceless. So why run from the very thing that's refining you? Every great story you admire was written in seasons of pressure. Every champion you celebrate was forged through moments of resistance. Without pressure, there's no growth, no resilience, no greatness. Pressure doesn't show your weakness. It reveals your willingness to become stronger. When you feel that pressure, the deadlines, the setbacks, the disappointments, don't panic. That's the sound of transformation. It's the pressure of your purpose pressing against the walls of your comfort zone. It's life saying, you've outgrown this level. The old version of you can't handle what's waiting on the next level. So pressure comes to upgrade you. It teaches you patience. It builds endurance. And it eliminates complacency. When you learn to embrace pressure, instead of avoiding it, you begin to see it for what it really is, a divine invitation to evolve. Most people pray for strength, but then they reject the situations that require. They want success without struggle, reward without resistance, promotion without preparation. But that's not how life works. Strength is developed in the gym of adversity. Every challenge you face is a workout for your character. Every obstacle builds spiritual muscle. The pressure isn't punishment, it's preparation. It's training you to carry the weight of your future blessings. Without that training, the very thing you prayed for could crush you. Here's another hook. Pressure will either make you bitter or it will make you better. The difference lies in your perspective. The old you saw pressure as pain, the new you sees it as purpose. The old you asked, why me? The new you says, try me. Because you understand that pressure is not happening to you. It's happening for you. It's creating the version of you that your destiny requires. If you can learn to stay calm under pressure, you've already mastered the hardest part of growth. There will be moments when you'll want to quit, moments when the weight feels unbearable. But remember, resistance builds resilience. Every time you push back against pressure, you're proving to yourself that you can handle more. And the moment you realize that pressure doesn't control you, you control how you respond to it. You take back your power. You start using pressure as fuel instead of fear. You stop complaining about the fire and start using it to forge your focus. Think about an athlete training for greatness. They push themselves beyond comfort, beyond what feels easy. Why? Because they understand that comfort never creates champions. The same principle applies to life. The greater the purpose, the greater the pressure. And if you're feeling it right now, it's not because you're failing. It's because you're becoming. Pressure is your confirmation that something powerful is forming within you. So when life gets heavy, don't retreat, rise. When doors close, don't complain, create. When things get hard, don't give up, grow up. Pressure is not meant to bury you. It's meant to birth the new you. Every level of success demands a stronger version of yourself, and pressure is the process that reveals it. So instead of praying for less pressure, pray for more power to handle it. Because when you can stand tall in the face of pressure, when you can smile through struggle and keep your faith through fire, that's when the world begins to see the greatness that's always been inside you. The new you doesn't wait for opportunity. The new you creates it. Too many people are standing still, waiting for something magical to appear, waiting for doors to open, waiting for luck to show up. But opportunity doesn't respond to waiting. It responds to movement. Nothing shifts until you do. The difference between those who dream and those who do is that doers understand that opportunities are not found, they are formed. Every great success story started with someone who decided to move before they had everything figured out. They acted, and in their action, the path appeared. That's the power of creation. It begins with motion. Here's a hook for you. You were never meant to chase opportunity. You were designed to attract it. But attraction doesn't happen through hoping. It happens through becoming. When you start showing up as the person your vision requires, opportunities begin to recognize you. Life mirrors who you are, not what you want. If you want bigger opportunities, you must become a bigger person in mindset, in discipline, in faith, and in action. The new you isn't sitting on the sidelines waiting for permission. The new you is already in the arena, taking imperfect action with perfect intention. You've got to understand something powerful opportunities are drawn to energy, not excuses. When your energy says, I'm ready, the world starts responding. The right people, resources, and moments begin to align. That's not coincidence. That's confirmation. The universe recognizes consistent commitment. The moment you stop waiting and start creating, you shift from being a spectator of life to being the author of it. Every idea, every business, every movement that ever changed the world came from someone who decided to stop asking, who's going to give me a chance? And started saying, I'll create my own. The old you played defense, the new you plays offense. The old you reacted to life, the new you designs it. You can't live an extraordinary life with an ordinary mindset. Waiting keeps you stuck in the loop of potential, but creating moves you into the realm of manifestation. Every time you take action toward your purpose, you're sending a message to heaven saying, I'm serious. And heaven responds to seriousness. Faith without works is dead, and dreams without action are just fantasies dressed up in excuses. Here's another hook. The door you're waiting for might not even exist yet. You may have to build it. You may have to design it from the ground up with your own courage, your own creativity, and your own conviction. And when you do, others will start walking through the door you created. That's what leaders do. They don't look for paths, they pave them. The new you isn't limited by what exists. The new you invents what's next. You've got divine creativity inside of you, but it activates only when you act. Inspiration without execution is evaporation. If you don't use what you've been given, you lose what you've been given. You can't complain about not having opportunities if you're not willing to create value. The world doesn't pay for wishes, it pays for worth. So make yourself valuable. Build skills, build discipline, build a reputation that speaks when you're not in the room. The new you understands that preparation attracts provision. When you're excellent at what you do, opportunities will start looking for you. That's why you can't afford to be average. Excellence is the magnet that pulls your next level toward you. And when opportunities do show up, you've got to recognize them. Sometimes they won't come wrapped in comfort or clarity. They'll come disguised as challenges. Don't reject what's meant to refine you. Every tough moment could be a door to something greater if you have the courage to walk through it. Opportunity often whispers, not shouts, and it speaks the language of action. The new you doesn't ask, is this the right time? The new you declares, this is my time. So stop standing at the edge of your potential and waiting for someone to push you. Push yourself. Move before you're ready. Speak before you're comfortable. Start before you're certain. Because the people who win in life are not the ones who have everything. They're the ones who do something with what they have. The new you knows that waiting wastes time, but creating multiplies it. The future belongs to those who don't wait for the next opportunity, but to those who become the opportunity. The moment you realize that you are the answer to your own prayer, that's the moment your entire reality begins to change. So let me leave you with this. Don't wait for a new year to start a new you. All you need is 7 days of unwavering focus, unstoppable faith, and unshakable action. Because when you commit fully, not halfway, not someday, but today, that's when transformation begins. Remember, God won't do for you what He created you to do for yourself. You've got the power, the purpose, and the potential inside you right now. The question is, will you give yourself 7 days to become the person your destiny has been waiting for?